Hi there guys, how's it going? It's time for another game of Twilight Struggle, the first in a short while. My apologies, I'll explain the reasons later. I've set up a random game and it looks like we're going to be the Americans, so let's see how it goes. Yeah, my apologies for not uploading in a while. I went on holiday to Berlin about a month ago for 2 weeks, which was really good. Lots of stuff to see and do there, lots of stuff relating to this game as well. It was nice to see the plaque where Ronald Reagan gave his speech in front of the Brandenburg Gate. I went once before with my dad a few years ago, but we didn't have an awful lot of time. We were only there for a weekend, whereas this time I was there for a week, so I had a lot more freedom to travel around and see a lot more of it. And it's a great city. I'd thoroughly recommend it. But yeah, apologies for not subscribing. I haven't gone. Sorry for not uploading. I haven't gone away. I'm still here. It's just obviously life has taken its toll a bit, as well as the holiday, the vacation to Germany. We've had a few family problems, so I apologise for that. I also have a bit of a cold, so apologies for the snuffling. So there's nothing here that makes me want to do anything drastic in Europe, so I think we'll just do the standard setup. And looking at the cards, I think it's got to be containment. Just say hello to the opponent. Yeah, my reasoning for containment: A, there's nothing else really worth headlining. Actually, no, hang on. What about East European? Because that would then give us domination, wouldn't it? In fact, I don't think he'd have presence because he doesn't control any other countries. Oh, I'm tantalised by that now. My only worry is that we don't have defectors, so if he has Red Scare, then this hand is going to be pretty useless. We'll be adventurous. We'll go for East European. Sometimes the Soviet player headlines Europe for whatever reason, so I don't know. We'll see what happens. What's this guy's rating? Okay, fairly low with respect to HS Deluxe, so this should be a fairly easy game for us, if I do say so myself. No, I mean, having played for this long, again, with respect to lower ranked players, it should be fairly easy for us, you know, for players with 1600 points plus to beat the lower ranked players. But we'll see how it goes. You never know in this game. Everyone makes mistakes, so we've got to participate, and we lose, which is to be expected given the points bonus. Sorry, the die bonus. I'm not thinking straight. I haven't played this in a while, so you'll have to excuse me. Okay, so hand-wise, I'm thinking we've got to keep de Gaulle in case of blockade. It's the only sort of negative 3-ops card. Spacing Vietnam, I think, or maybe using it with his UN. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. So we'll take Iran and then we'll get a foothold into Asia with Afghanistan. We'll see how he responds to that. Yeah, I think it was a very effective move to play East European because he realised that you know, if we have European scoring, he's in huge trouble because I think it would be around sort of 8 or 9 points without presence and 2 battlegrounds. So he sort of had to respond to that. Still a host of nasty things he could have. He could have decolonisation. He could have de-Stalinisation. I'm assuming that he has slightly more ops than we do, given that ours is sort of average sized. We don't have any 4-ops cards, so, you know, Red Scare, Japan, Marshall Plan, NATO, anything like that. But I think it's slightly too early to guess. Oh, and there's Marshall Plan. So I'm guessing we'll go for Italy. Oh no. Okay. Now I have to say I'm surprised that he didn't go for Italy there, because letting Marshall Plan happen implies that he's basically giving up on Europe. Again, there's still the possibility of de Gaulle, but I don't know. If I'd have been him, I'd have tried to coup Italy, just to prevent him from putting points into there with the Marshall Plan, and denying him that domination. But that's just me. I'm sure he had his reasoning. Okay. Given that he's kicked us out of Iran, we sort of have to move around in the Middle East in case he has Suez or Arab-Israeli war. And my thought process there is if he coups Egypt, then we can safely move up into Malaysia with no repercussions. Could also use NASA if he has that. Yeah, maybe with the Marshall Plan play, he was sort of hoping that we'd fall victim to blockade later, or something along those lines. Okay, so we definitely can move into Malaysia now. Slight mistake there from our opponent. If I were him, I'd have done the event first just to give me one less point. Obviously, the DEFCON has to be at 3 to coup the Middle East. It wouldn't have made any difference there. So maybe that's something for him to think about. We'll get Romanian out of the way. It makes independent red slightly more dangerous. On the negative side, we also give him more points for D-Style if he does have that card. But I'd rather just get it out of the way, use my one-op effectively, and hop into Southeast Asia. So if he has Decol, he should use it now. We can't have Vietnam because we have that. We'll see what he does. Fidel, okay. Right. So we sort of need to take Thailand now. So I think with 2 battlegrounds for him and a bordering nation and Thailand, that should make it even. Yeah, it does. So we can play that next and keep de Gaulle in case of any pesky blockades that the Soviets might be trying to force upon us. That early Marshall Plan has also made socialist governments slightly less frightening. If he doesn't blockade us, then I'll just do the typical de Gaulle play. Do the event first and then all 3 into France. So Middle East play is slightly concerning. However, I can't really respond to that with de Gaulle. We have to use all 3 of the ops in France for fear of losing it, because obviously if we don't use all 3 ops, then he could just whack out the China card and take over France. And I want to sort of secure Europe for ourselves, given that the Middle East hasn't really gone our way and Asia's sort of even. So yeah, we also haven't seen Truman. So if we get de Gaulle out of the way now, and he tries to, throws all balls to the wall and starts trying to take over France, hopefully Harry Truman can lend us a hand. Okay, arguably a misplay placing one into Egypt, given that NASA hasn't been played. With respect to our opponent, I'm not sure how experienced he is given his points. He might be fairly new to the game. I've noticed as well, I had a game against someone 2 or 3 weeks ago who was a beginner. They had 1,500 points, they'd never played before. I beat them and they lost, I think, about 150 points. There was no mercy for the new guy.
The totalitarian regimes are nurtured by misery and want. They spread and grow in the evil soil of poverty and strife.
Excuse me.
They reach their full growth when the hope of a people for a better life has died.
Okay, so the good news is that we have D-stall, and we can hopefully hold that until the next round. The bad news is that we have blockade, and playing blockade basically means that we need to get rid of all the cards in our hand. I'm also very worried that he has red scare, which is what I'm assuming he's headlined, which makes blockade even more difficult. We could really do with the China card at the moment. I don't really see the point of headlining anything apart from captured Nazi scientist. He will have red scare, I think. Oh no, decal. Okay. Quite brave of him to play that as a headline. So that makes me think that he must have defectors, because I certainly wouldn't headline such a powerful card like that in the early war as the Soviets without having defectors in my hand. So this begs the question now: will we be able to steal the coup? You know, will he prioritise taking Thailand? But obviously, if he goes into Africa and doesn't coup, then we might be able to nab one of those African battlegrounds off him. I don't think there's any way to get around the blockade situation. It's very, very difficult, I think, for the Americans to have what I'd call a perfect early war. You know, sort of no blockade, hold decal and D-stall. I think that's very difficult. I think I've only managed it a couple of times. Okay, why he hasn't gone into Thailand, I don't know. Maybe he realises that would probably cost him a coup. I'm not sure. Slight misplay in my opinion. Panama, yeah. Okay. So I think overprotecting Thailand is imperative here. We'll use Japan so it comes back into the deck. We'll grab Lebanon just to get presence in the Middle East. We'll take France, and that doesn't give us domination, so we will grab Spain. Another good thing about taking Lebanon as well is that it makes Arab-Israeli war slightly less likely to succeed. Yeah, apart from Europe, we're struggling slightly here, but it's early days. Yeah, so how have you all been? What's new in your lives? In the lives of my dedicated 20-odd followers, how are you all doing? I hope you understand the reasoning why I haven't been around. These things do happen sometimes. Okay, I don't get that at all, I have to be honest. I really don't understand why he's taking Jordan. Let's see if we can get ahead on the space race. So we roll a 6, unfortunately. So let's see what he does. If I were him, I'd prioritise taking the Middle Eastern battlegrounds. I think it will be quite costly for him to cause serious damage in Europe. Suez would be quite useful for him. Okay, the China card's coming out. Right. Why has he done that? That's quite irritating. We can't not have presence in the Middle East, so I think we'll grab Saudi Arabia. And what's the country count in Asia? So in case decal comes back for whatever reason, we will make Indonesia slightly less appealing. Yeah, I think generally for the US, with the exception of the Egypt cards, I think it's quite hard to maintain a good domination in the Middle East. You know, you've got Muslim Revolution, you've got Marine barracks bombing, you've got Iranian hostage crisis. You know, lots of nasty Soviet cards that give them the edge in the Middle East. You've got obviously the Arab-Israeli war card, you've got Suez crisis. So yeah, I don't really want to play Arab-Israeli war now because that will block us off from Egypt. I think we'll go on the offensive then. Before we play it, just in case we lose the roll, we'll break Egypt to give us access to Libya. And he fails, luckily. So I'd like to get to know you all a bit better. You know, I'd like to start some conversations about this this game. Who do you prefer playing as, the US or the USSR, or do you not really mind? What are you reasoning for favouring a particular side? I think personally I prefer the US. I think if you can survive the early war, which occasionally is a big if, then the cards generally start to favour you a lot more. I think you can cause a lot of damage with some of the cards that you have. Okay, so Truman, the only country we can take is Finland. So he's going for Libya. Only got 2 ops now in total, blockade and CIA, so we'll just try to make things harder for him in Libya. Okay, so that'll be a heap of points for him. Oh no, only 3. I thought it was more than that. My bad. Again, with this one, we can't really do an awful lot, so I'll just try to build up Libya. Yeah, so not the best of early wars.
Help us move out of the dark chamber of horrors into the light, to find a way by which the minds of men, the hopes of men, the souls of men everywhere can move forward toward peace and happiness and well-being.
Okay, so we redraw Middle East, unfortunately, but we know a couple of things. We know that he definitely has Red Scare, so I think Defectors is imperative here. He definitely has Red Scare, he definitely has Europe, but also, unfortunately, I think he must definitely have 5-year plan. I don't think we've seen that, so I think we're not going to see Europe scored. He must also have Suez Crisis, which we haven't seen. Nothing else is coming to mind. But yeah, off the top of my head, they're the only ones I can think of. So we definitely need to defect, as you know, that there's a whole host of nasty cards that could be played here. Yeah, see, there we go. That would have ruined Europe for us. I think we should take Algeria when we can. I think that's pretty important. Goodbye, Libya. Yeah. So yeah, we'll grab Algeria, try to secure a position in the third world somehow. And then we'll move into Taiwan for a number of reasons. A, he's played Formosan, so it's considered a battleground state. And B, if we take it, it will make the chances of Korean War going off slightly less likely. So that's my thought process there. Can play Indo-Pakistani for the event, which would be good. See if we can flip Asia slightly. Yeah, quite unfortunate that we've redrawn Middle East, but it had to happen at some point, so Doesn't really matter. There's Red Scare. Interesting. I think we'll play Middle East now just to minimise the damage before he takes Egypt. And then after this we will play Indo-Pakistani, hopefully flip Pakistan. You could argue that I should use the China card, but I don't like wasting it. I like to keep it as the US. Well, I like to keep it regardless of who I'm playing as, but especially as the US because of the Ussuri River Skirmish card in the mid-war. Okay, that's interesting. So we can play Cambridge with no consequences. So I think with that we will take Taiwan, which should leave it even now. Yeah. Always makes me laugh when the Soviet player takes Taiwan. I mean, the whole reason it exists was to resist communist expansion. So I think part of the fun of this game is just creating ridiculous scenarios that never could have happened. You know, like American North Korea or communist France. It just tickles me. Alright. So we'll play this now, we'll get military ops, hopefully flip a country, hopefully turn Asia in our favour. But worst case scenario, we don't lose 2 points from the military ops. Let's see how it goes. And we roll a 1. Wasn't meant to be. I think I'll space Arab-Israeli just to prevent him from potentially getting any other victory points. And then as a last play we will slam Japan into North Korea. The trademark saucy Soviet move. You are welcome to use it yourself. Okay, that's interesting. Alright. Makes me think he has Asia if he's going crazy about South Korea. In which case we'll break it now. Doesn't really matter that we've triggered Vietnam. You know, Thailand's overprotected. He doesn't have access to Malaysia or Indonesia. He must have Europe, surely. I don't think we saw it before the reshuffle. Excuse me. Yeah, there goes Europe. So annoying.
Sobre la cuestión acerca de si la lucha armada es el único camino para la liberación, lo que puedo responder es que, por lo menos en las condiciones de nuestro país, no había otro camino.
So, let's smash Kim. You don't get to say that very often. So part of my reasoning there is A, we might get an Asian battleground, and B, if he decides to repair it, then we will get a coup opportunity, which I think is quite vital given the situation in Africa. Oh, so great news here. We could use Ussuri River Skirmish to bulk up North Korea and then attack Pakistan as well. You know, really cause some issues for him. I think that's what we'll do. I don't see any reason to do anything else. We can bear trap him at the end as well. If we grab Mexico, then we can score Central America for even. Asia is yet to be scored as well, so we can try and flip it in our favour. What's he got? Willy Brandt. So West Germany is over. Excuse me. West Germany is overprotected, so that's not a huge issue. So we'll challenge Pakistan and then bulk up North Korea even more. I think he might be trying to rack up some points. I'm not sure. Korean War is fairly harmless, given that he already controls South Korea, and if we have Taiwan and North Korea, then you know, he'll need a 6 to be successful. I've mentioned it time and time again, but how South Korea can be turned more communist by being invaded by an American-aligned North Korea just baffles me. I still think there should be some text on the card that says, you know, the event can't be played if North Korea is controlled by the US. It does seem rather silly. Alright. So a nice few points. Now if we hadn't used Usuri, then he could have taken Korea back pretty easily. But given that North Korea is now so far in our favour, it makes it pretty pointless to go back in there. So we'll take North Korea with Korean War, obviously using the points before to make the odds less likely. And then we've got Central America. We need to address that. You know, if he has liberation, he could just take Mexico outright. So I think we'll move into Mexico. Hopefully this fails. Yeah. Interesting turn of events. So if he takes India, which he probably will do, then that will give him an even amount of battlegrounds, but that doesn't really bother me because I think we'll still get a couple of points given that we control both of the border nations in Asia. So, and obviously Japan will fall to us at some stage. Okay. I'm tempted to play Missile Envy. We've already seen Duck and Cover, so there's no chance of suicide. And also the big 3 Soviet 4-op cards, you know, Muslim Revolution, Flower Power, and We Will Bury You, haven't been seen yet. So I think we'll take a slight risk and hopefully pull something out of the bag. And who knows, we might get ABM Treaty or something similar. So let's see what happens. At the very worst, we're making him hand over a card, you know. So. Alright, okay, so he does need to address that. Take one from Romania, and then... So I'm guessing the 2 missile envy points will be placed into East Germany and Poland. Part of me is considering flipping Pakistan now, actually. Yeah, as I thought. Because, I mean, that would give up Taiwan's battleground status, but he still only has 3. So if we use the China card, we'll have Thailand and North Korea. And he'll have 3, but then we'll take Pakistan, which will then give us 3 and him 2. And I think that's the way to go. Yeah. So we still have domination. And Nixon is still out there too. We could do with the points boost as well. We're definitely spacing OPEC, because that would be 1, 2, 3 points. And if Arab-Israeli war is successful, that will only be 2 points, so it's the lesser of 2 evils. And who's to say that Arab-Israeli war will actually succeed, you know? He only has 3 op cards as well, which is something to bear in mind. I think we'll use Bear Trap as a action round 7 play. It is 7, isn't it? I always forget. Yeah. I think I shouldn't spend too much time away from this, otherwise I start forgetting things. It's not good. Come on, HS Deluxe, what are you gonna do? I don't think he can do anything drastic in Asia. I suppose the only possibility really would be if he had the Indo-Pakistani war card, which I think we've already seen. Yeah, it's there. So I suppose Brush War would be the only menacing card here, and that would probably be used on Thailand, given that no adjacent countries are controlled by the US. Okay, where's this going? Alright, so he's getting a bit desperate. I think we'll just have to play Arab-Israeli, you know, if it succeeds, yeah, alright. So that's 2 to our 7, so we're still up 5 on that exchange. Obviously it's 1 point less than OPEC, and obviously we can't play Brezhnev now. Given what I've learned in this game in the past, I think desperate breaking of countries doesn't really achieve much. I think if you've got an unfavourable scoring card, you should just play it, you know, minimise the damage, because it does make you look a little bit shaky. Okay, he's taken Israel, which makes me think he might have, what do you call it, the Jimmy Carter card, Camp David cards. I need to take Mexico. 1.2. I can't play Allende. I want to keep Bear Trap. I suppose Brezhnev. I'm assuming he has Asia scoring, which would limit his Brezhnev benefits to 1 turn. It's an awful play, but I can't really play any of the others for various reasons. We'll then overprotect these 2, because, in fact, no, what I will do with that is I'll take Mexico, overprotect Pakistan, and then grab Malaysia just to protect against any potential pesky brush wars. I'm assuming he has Asia, given that he broke Pakistan. let's hope he does, because he snuck out of Europe, you know, with 5-year plan, and denied us those juicy 5 points. I hope he has scoring cards, because it'll make me look like an idiot. If not, because I'll have given him two Brezhnev'd up action rounds. Come on, what are you gonna do? Was wirst du machen? Qu'est-ce que tu fais? Some spicy languages there, in case you're looking for a bit of sophistication. Come on. So, like I said earlier, guys, I'd like to create a bit of a rapport with you. You know, I like the Twilight Struggle community. I think it's a nice, closely knit group of not many people, but the few people that there are who play this game are very dedicated and put a lot of time into it, and mostly know what they're doing. So I'd like to get to know you all a little bit better. Which is why I ask you these questions. You know, I'm not going to ask you for your bank details or anything like that. I just think it's good to ask questions. Okay, why he's done that, I don't know. He might have Panama that he's trying to protect against. If I were him, I'd have just played Sadat. You know, if you play it early on, and then you draw a Muslim revolution, you can kick us out of Egypt, which the US usually retains control of, generally. In fact, if Muslim revolution comes out, we're going to be in huge trouble in the Middle East. Colonial rearguards would be useful.
Our goal is not the
no.
of might, but the vindication of right.
I really don't understand that. No disrespect to our opponent, I really don't understand that. You know, Junta's a great card. It gives you access to South America. You know, we have Allende, so there's no other way apart from D-Stall that he can gain access to South America. Why you'd use that for points, I don't know. I really don't understand that. But I'm not complaining. So, as I said, I'll play Bear Trap, which will give us the opening coup.
For only when our arms are sufficient beyond doubt can we be certain beyond doubt that they will never be employed.
Okay, so given that he's under Bear Trap, I think it's got to be puppet governments. You know, we can go into South America with no fear of him queuing us. A couple of pesky cards. We've got Decol. We've still got OPEC, which we need to be mindful of. I'm hoping if we get to Animal in Space, then we can space 2 cards. Portuguese Empire isn't really an issue at this point. You know, he already controls Angola. Angola falls to the Soviets most of the time. So yeah, I think puppet governments is the way to go. And if he has ABM or Brush War, then obviously that event will come first, so we don't have to worry about that. So what's he got? Fidel. Okay. So it's unfortunate that he didn't have that last round, because it would have scored in domination, given that he's taken Costa Rica. But never mind. So if we put one into Brazil, and then is it worth going into Africa anywhere? No, I think in case of ABM or Brush War, I think we'll put 2 of the 3 into South America. in case he attacks us there. And we can safely go into Chile because obviously we have Allende, or Allende, or however you pronounce that. If any Spanish speakers could give me the heads up on the right way of pronouncing that, that would be very much appreciated. Okay, so he gets rid of Asnot, which at the moment would be a pretty useful card. We'll just get rid of Portuguese Empire. I think we'll coup Nigeria. Very nice. Nice big 6. So that'll take Africa up to a 4, I think. Yeah. Still yet to see Asia. That should be here soon. I'm tempted to nab the China card off him as well. I don't want him attacking North Korea. I like having North Korea, as some of you have probably noticed. I think it's very very valuable. Obviously, strategically, it's a very important area as well. If he does cause any shenanigans in Asia, then there's always shuttle diplomacy to help us out. But yeah, we'll see what he does. He takes his time, unfortunately. I think, given his points, he's done very well. He's 10 points ahead for a start. But he's got 3 regions to our 2, so a few card misplays, I think. With respect to him, I say these things with the utmost respect. I don't mean to be snobby or a smart ass. I just, having played this game for a few years now, you do pick up on new players based on their card play. Would also be very much appreciated if you hurried up. Alright. So we need to respond to him going into Colombia. So I don't want him to have even realignment odds, so I think I'll grab Brazil as well. Couing Colombia at some point would be good. We've not seen South America scoring, so again, he might have that, given that he's gone into Colombia, but I thought he had Asia last round when he didn't, so don't listen to me, I'm talking out of my arse, as they say in Her Majesty's United Kingdom. I bought an Xbox recently. I've downloaded Modern Warfare Remastered. I don't know if any of you are into shooting games. It's really good. I was a big fan of the original, and it's nice to see it sort of, revamped up, because the original was an excellent game. There's some Easter eggs as well for people who played the original game. There's an opportunity to shoot Makarov at the, what's it called? The meeting point between Zakayev and whoever it is that he meets with to sell the nuclear stuff. So we'll coup Colombia. Wow, another big 6. We're doing well dice wise. So that's given us domination. If he moves into Peru, then we can grab Chile with shuttle diplomacy. We need to succeed on the space race as well. Where's he going? Okay. Right, so quite unfortunate for him there. We'll take the China card off him before he can do anything drastic with that. Also creates some hand size problems, I suppose. you view the China card as your sort of backup card in case you've got a pretty frightening hand. Does anybody know what that piece of music is? I've always wondered. Let me know in the comments if you if you know. Come on, buddy, you're going to run out of time. I don't like winning to people who run out of time. It feels very anticlimactic. I like winning properly. Come on, buddy. I think we could fit a new Cold War in between the times it takes him to do his move. Sorry about the buzz, just my phone going off. Oh, I'm dying of old age, pal. Come on. What are you doing? Come on. Why are we waiting? Why are we waiting? He could potentially have a very dangerous hand now, given that we've stolen the China card from him. We haven't seen grain sales, we haven't seen the Voice of America. I don't think CIA was played either for the event. Have we seen that? No, we haven't seen that yet. So there's a chance that he could have a really unpleasant set of cards. We haven't seen Camp David, we haven't seen OAS. The only devastating American card we've seen is Public Governments, which we used ourselves. So, given that we had a few Soviet events, it's safe to assume that he's got a few American ones. We haven't seen Colonial Rearguards either. He might have that. So he's probably weighing up in his head the best course of action to take. Either that or he's just given up. Send him a message.
And so, my fellow Americans, ask not what your country can do for you. Ask what you can do for your country.
He's going to struggle for time later on, given that he only has 11 minutes and we're only halfway through the game. Seems like a lot when you think 11 minutes, but it soon goes. Especially considering that you really need to think in this game sometimes, which is what I'm assuming he's doing. I hope he hasn't just left. Hello. Oh, I hate it when this happens. No. Apologies if you're watching this. Why hasn't that sent? Ah, there we go. Must have been a temporary slow connection. Very polite, very diplomatic, but straight to the point. About as British as it gets. Oh, come on, pal. If your hand's full of suicide cards, then just cause World War III, get on with it. Don't make us wait here for, what's it been? About 10 minutes now. Right, guys, what I'm going to do is I'm going to let the timer run to 7, and then if he hasn't played by then, I will stop recording and I will write in the description the outcome of the game. I think he must have left. I'm assuming that he has a very difficult hand, and even if he does come back and play now, he's going to find it very difficult to not run out of time. So I'll let you know what happens. I just want to cut it short because I don't see the point of just making you watch some guy not do anything. So it's slightly boring. It's doesn't do me any favours either, because obviously I want to provide entertaining content for you. I don't want you to sit there watching fuck all happen, basically. So, right. Yeah, it's gone to 7 and nothing has happened, so I'll leave it there. I'll let you know what happens in the comments. Sorry about that. I don't have any control over it, but it is what it is. Again, let me know what I could have done better, if there was anything, you know, where I made any mistakes. And once again, I'm very sorry for not uploading in a month or so. But it's great to be back. It's great to be back with all of you again. And if you're a new viewer and you've liked what you've seen, please consider liking and subscribing. It helps me out a lot. Alright guys, thank you very much for watching. I will see you next time. Take care. Bye bye.